Hey guys, I'm Arden Kaywin, and welcome to today's episode of the Pro Singer Success Collective. We are going to be talking about Star Wars and singing, how to get rid of tension. So, one of the things that many singers struggle with is how to sing without tension. Tension and strain. It's like, tension in the neck, in the throat, in the jaw, tension in the tongue. Sometimes it's rib tension, right? And so, if you know me, if you follow my content at all, you can guess that my answer to this question of how to sing without tension is something that has to do with the mind and the body, and how that mind and a body effect can actually have a big consequence on your singing and your technique. And so now the title of this whole episode was Star Wars and singing. So you're probably wondering, well, what does Star Wars have to do with all this? So there's a quote in Star Wars that I love. And so this is when Yoda is, he's instructing Luke and how to get out of the swamp when Luke's ship gets stuck in the mud in the swamp. And Yoda says to Luke, do or do not. There is no try. So singers, if you want to get out of tension when you sing, this is your mantra. Do or do not. There is no try. And so what it means, how this applies to you, is in the same way that it applies to Luke when he's stuck in the mud and in the swamp. So when we try, we tend to force and to manipulate, and we tend to overthink and overdo, which causes physical tension in the body, because the body is only ever responding to the mind. And so if the mind is giving these signals like, oh, we have to try, we have to force, we have to manipulate, we have to do, we have to overthink, we have to, all of these things, it causes physical tension. And specifically in the singer, it causes tension, like I was saying, in the jaw, in the tongue, in the throat, in the neck, and in the ribs, and in the lower and upper body, okay? And so we tense. Why? Because we don't inherently trust ourselves or our technique to make the sound we want without all that excess trying going on. And so Luke, in the same way in Star Wars, he tries to force a solution. He's like in that swamp and he's got to get the thing out and nothing is working. And so he's forcing and, all these things and overthinking. But then here comes Yoda. There is no try, only do. Right? I think I got that backwards. Do or do not. There is no try, right? Which is basically saying there is no trying. Either you do it or you don't do it. There's no try. Okay. And so when Luke is in trying mode, he's in the swamp and he's trying to force a solution and nothing is working. But when he heeds Yoda's words and he stops trying so hard, then what happens is he trusts his Jedi training. He trusts his abilities, and he's able to channel the force that gets the ship out of the swamp, okay? And so here's how this works for you. When we as singers, when we are in trying mode, like Luke, we don't believe that we can get the outcome that we want unless we force it. We don't believe that we can get the sound that we want, the impactful performance that we want, unless we force it, manipulate it, over control it. And just like Luke, all that trying gets in the way of us being able to access our talent and our technique that we already have, that we already know, that we've already set. And so it gets in the way of us being able to tap into that and to trust that. And so when that happens, we just end up making the very sound that we were doing all that trying to try to accomplish. Another way of saying that is we end up making the very sound that we were afraid of. The outcome that we were afraid of is what we absolutely ensure by trying so hard and controlling and overdoing in the first place. But when we can get out of our way and get back into the present moment of our body, we stop trying so hard and we begin to trust our training and our abilities. Now, there are two main saboteurs of trusting your training and your abilities. Number one, if there are gaps in the foundation of your technique, then you can't trust it. So that'll take you out. Or number two, there are limiting beliefs and old stories or even traumas that sabotage your mindset and prevent you from trusting your training and your instrument and your abilities. And so these are the two things that our intensive program spends a lot of time addressing, like head on, okay? Because when you get in touch with the sensations of your efficient technique and you have that rock solid foundation and you learn how to annihilate what's been stopping you from trusting all of that, then you enable yourself to do without the try, just like Yoda said. And so here's a trick that I use with my singers to get out of the try, which really becomes the cornerstone of how you sing without tension and how you eliminate the tension. And it's a way of hijacking your brain that builds trust so that you can let go of trying and all that trying in favor of just doing. So just for today, here's the trick. Give yourself permission to make a bad sound. Be willing to make a bad sound in your lesson or in your practice. It's that willingness that's the most important part. Be willing to screw it up. Be willing to suck, okay? Because in that willingness, you let go of all the force and all the over control and all the try that ends up creating the bad outcome and the bad sound in the first place. So in my experience, trying is often linked to perfectionism. Anybody here relate to perfectionism? I certainly do. You're looking at one recovered former perfectionist here. Okay, so I know of what I speak. We all want to improve. We all want to reach the potential of our voices and our talent. We all want to know how to sing without tension. But perfectionism in singing can lead to the kind of trying I'm talking about, which causes tension and negatively affects your sound, and it doesn't feel good either. And so here's why. Your mind has cooked up this idea of being perfect to try to prevent you from failing. And so you are going to over control, force, push, manipulate in order to be perfect because your mind has convinced you that if you are perfect, you will not fail and that it will get you to that outcome. All the trying is an effort to be perfect so that you won't fail, okay? But what if you didn't have to be perfect? What if your body wasn't reacting to all of that force and over control so that you didn't fail? Because that's where the tension comes from. It's literally your body trying to prevent you from failing so you don't have to feel less than. So you don't have to feel the result of all of that, okay? So let yourself off the hook for having to be so perfect. Like sing like you literally just don't care. Like what if there were zero consequences and that perfectionism could just go out the window? What could that experience be like for you? Guys, the willingness to make a bad sound allows you to let go and to stop trying so hard and allow your body and your technique to work for you instead of sabotaging your instrument and your sound against you. So throw caution to the wind today, guys. Allow yourself to be human rather than perfect. When you do that, you take your hands off your proverbial neck and all that tension, and you let your body and your technique show up for you in the way that it otherwise can't because you're holding on so tight to be perfect so you don't fail. That's the tension. So if we want to eliminate tension, we have to eliminate what's causing the tension in the first place. You guys, your body is only ever reacting to your mind all day, every day, for better or for worse. So if you want to eliminate tension, you got to address the things that are causing the tension in the first place. And perfectionism is one of the big ones. So be willing to make a bad sound. Be willing to be perfectly imperfect. Be present to the sensations in your body so that when you are willing to be imperfect, you start to see, oh, this is what happens when I let go and my technique can just hook in. Sing for the love of singing and just allow yourself to flow with the present moment of your technique and your energy in your body without getting in the way of this by trying to end gain the sound or end gain the outcome. Be in the present moment, let go of the outcome. Sing like you just don't care. Stop trying to control the outcome. Be willing to let yourself be perfectly imperfect. Because the more that we try to control the sound, the worse it usually gets. Okay? And yet, so many of us are such control freaks and perfectionists around our singing. And like I said, I know because I was probably the biggest perfectionist of them all. But perfectionism in singing leads to micromanagement of the sound and over control, which causes tension and bad habits, which then usually create the very sound that you're afraid of or trying to avoid, like cracking, like, pitchiness, all those things. But when you think about singing like you just don't care, like singing in the shower, for example, when we sing like that, sing like we just don't care. That feeling of being in the shower, y'all know it. You always sing the best ever when you're in the shower because you literally are not end gaining the outcome. You're just enjoying the moment with your body and singing like you just don't care. And when you do that, you become willing to make a bad sound. And then there are no consequences to that, and perfectionism goes out the window. And then you actually make the sound that the potential of your instrument and your technique is set up for. So the very act of being willing to make a bad sound virtually ensures that you will make a better sound. Truly. The willingness to make a bad sound allows you to let go and to stop trying so hard, and allows your body and your technique to work for you instead of against you. And then you'll be so surprised at how resonant and how powerful and supported and free the sound can be when you stop trying so hard and you let your body do what it was meant to do. There is no try, only do. That's Yoda, okay? I didn't invent this stuff, guys, but it works for you in the same way. When you do that, your body can show up and do what it was trained to do. And so in that way, you begin to build trust in your technique, and trust that you can draw on again and again and again. Trust in your instrument. But now here's the question. Well, how do we let go like that? How do we sing like we just don't care when we really freaking do care? Because we want to have a big singing career. We want to go to auditions and nail the part and get that big equity role on Broadway. We want to make records that thousands, millions of people listen to and that get us on big stages performing in front of thousands. That's what we want. We care. So how do we sing like we just don't care when we really do care? So if you're listening to this and you're like, well, Arden, that sounds amazing, like in theory, but that's really hard to do. Yes, you're absolutely right. It is really hard to do. It's really hard to break old blocks and patterns that you've had for years that you probably don't even recognize, which make it really hard for you to let go and trust. And it is even harder to do that if you have to try to trust a technique that has likely been very untrustworthy for you and inconsistent and unreliable in the past. So if you want expert guidance and support and help to build a technical foundation you can trust and break these blocks and patterns in your mind that are otherwise sabotaging that trust, to be able to set up a truly reliable foundation in your mind and in your body and your technique and in your artistry that you can trust, then book a call with us. Because this is exactly what we are experts, the best in the world at doing for singers. You may not know how to use a technique that you can trust. Nobody may have ever taught that to you. Or maybe you do have a lot of information, but you get in your mind and it sabotages your body from using that. And you don't know how to break those patterns and get off that negative feedback loop so that you can trust. And you may have been trying to do this all on your own for a long time and you're not getting anywhere with it. And so if you would like our expert support to be able to do this, then book a call with us. And we'll get on the phone for like 45 minutes and we're going to talk. We're going to get really clear on the ways in which tension has been showing up and the ways in which mind and body are sabotaging you from trusting and getting out of the tension. whether it's lack of technical foundation, whether it's mindset stuff, whether it's, being in your head and all the ways that I was just talking about, the perfectionism, all that. We're going to get really, really clear. And then I'm going to show you the step-by-step pattern that we use to break these blocks and patterns, to set up that rock solid foundation. And then if you'd like our help to build that, then I'll show you what that looks like. And if not, that's okay too. But either way, you will have a rock solid understanding of the steps that you need to take to get where you want to go. So if you're singing with so much tension, if you recognize that you don't know how to let go, and you understand that this is the difference between good and great, this is the difference between the career you have with your voice and the career you want with your voice, where you have full reliability, full impact in these performances, because you're no longer in your head or stuck in tension in your body. And instead, the sound is free and powerful and impactful, and your energy is reaching that audience in a way where you get hired for the gig. You make an impact in these recordings, whatever, whether you're an opera singer, a recording artist, a Broadway singer, it doesn't matter. None of this is genre specific. If you want our help to be able to go from good to great, to learn how to let go and stop all the trying and learn how to trust the truth of your talent, the truth of your instrument, set up a foundation for the technique you can trust, then do not waste another moment. Book a call with us. If you've been on the same hamster wheel and you're putting yourself out there for auditions and recordings and performances, and you're hustling and you're doing all this and you're not getting the results you want in the form of the big singing career that you really, really want, and you're watching other people out there get the gigs that you want and the opportunities that you want and make the income that you want with your music, and you're sitting there wondering, what's wrong with me? Why isn't this working for me? I'm doing everything I can, and here I'm still stuck, making very little money, not getting the opportunities that I want, feeling tension, feeling strain, not be able to let go and tap into the full potential of my instrument, then, oh my God, book a call with us. And let's get some real clarity on what's going on. Let me share with you the steps that we use to get there with our singers who are really successful. And then you can decide if you want our help to build that. And if you do, great. We'll show you what that is. And if not, that's okay too. So don't waste another minute. Book a call with us if you want our help. And I'll see you next time on the episode of the Pro Singer Success Collective. Bye.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning into today's episode. If you want to subscribe, click the link right over there that says subscribe. And if you want to book a breakthrough session with me, which you absolutely should do, then click the link right over here that says book a call to schedule an appointment to speak with us. I'll see you on the next episode.